pain if neither side wants to make it a world of pain. Indeed, hopefully we will move on to trade talks after the European Council in December, later in the month, and all the signs are today that that is going to happen. And when we do move on to those trade talks, you've got to remember, we start from a position of total and utter equivalence and alignment in terms of where we begin. So to move towards a quick free trail really ought not be beyond the wit of the negotiators on both sides if both sides want to see a robust free trade agreement, which is, in the end, in both sides' interests.
Jonathan, just give us a sense of how the harder-line Brexiteers feel about this. I mean, if you read, say, Clean Brexit by Liam Halligan, you're left with a picture of how actually none of this should be happening. Better to go straight to WTO, then we can negotiate at our leisure the trade deals, the transition, etc., etc. There will be some ardent Brexiteers who feel that too many compromises have been made today.
Well, let's wait and see what actually has been agreed and make a decision. And by the way, whatever may or may not be agreed today, nothing is agreed until everything is agreed. And we've got a whole process to go through that's going to come to a conclusion at the end of March 2019, a little short time before that, at which point there'll be a vote in Parliament as to whether or not to accept whatever deal is agreed.
Nottley Hunt was on the telly over the weekend, and he suggested to Brexiteers that it was a simple choice. You either lump it with Theresa May, or you can kiss goodbye to Brexit. It feels like a stark choice, but a realistic one.
Well, I don't think Theresa May's position is under any threat, and nor should it be. You know, she's the Prime Minister, she's got a job to do, she's getting on with doing it. But James there, I think, is under misapprehension that somehow there is an option at the end of all this of going back to the status quo as if nothing ever happened. That is simply not the case. We had a referendum in which more than 17 million people voted to leave the European Union, and then a vast majority of MPs voted to trigger Article 50, which set the ball rolling on our departure from the European Union. Yes, there will be a vote in Parliament at the end of the process. Do we agree with the deal that the government has negotiated or not? And if not, then we go to no deal, which is WTO rules, which is, by the way, how we trade with the rest of the world, which shouldn't be something to be particularly worried about. But I think we've got to be absolutely clear about this. There is no option to say, OK, let's just forget the last couple of years and let's go back to being a member of the European Union as if nothing happened, because it's not an option, and it's not an option the EU is going to offer us either.